lately I have been reading this book called Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn and basically in a nutshell it talks about the law of attraction and how we attract what we feel, essentially. I just finished it last night and I looked at the appendix, and the appendix states to see the change of energy that you emit, you can create a pair of woo-woo wands. That's WOOWOO. So basically what a woo-woo wand is, you get a metal coat hanger and you untie it or untwist it and you make an L out of it, basically. The book technically says this part right here is supposed to be 5 inches long, and this long piece right here is supposed to be 12 inches long. I've seen other people on YouTube where for this part they just made it the length of their straw. They didn't bother cutting it. This part, this longer part, I actually did cut, and I did try to make it as close to 12 inches as I could. When you make it, I highly recommend you try to get it as straight as you possibly can. Because it's wire, it can be very difficult trying to get it straight. You might need a pair of pliers to help you. I mean, if you look inside of this, it's not completely straight, but the reason why I say that is so there is as little resistance as possible, so it just freely swings back and forth. So basically, I'm going to try them out. And the concept is when you think of something very good, very positive, that makes you happy, you emit a higher frequency, and with these wands, what should happen is they swing out like this. I hope you can see that. When you think of something negative that upsets you, they close and they form an X like this. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get them to move. So I grab it like this, and it might take a moment for them to straighten out. Okay, so I'm going to try to think of something happy. Like so. Now I'm going to try to think of something that makes me upset. Like so. Now I'm going to try to think of something that makes me happy. Like so. Now I'm going to try to think of something that makes me mad. Like so. So that is a woo-woo one. One thing I want to point out is the reason why you have the straw is so you're not physically touching the wire. You could still do this without the straw, but the point of the straw is to make it so you are not touching the wire at all. So you are in no way manipulating it. So that's the purpose of the straw. When I'm doing this, I am holding as still as I possibly can, and the wire's still moving. So yeah, so I highly recommend you use a straw so you can get the real effect of it. And yeah, that's a woo-woo wand. It's kind of a cool thing. I really wish this was found in the appendix, but I really wish early on that Lynn would put it in the very beginning, because I think that, because I know when I started reading this book, I was pretty skeptical. Now at the very end, I'm pretty convinced that this stuff is actually true, and I'm really glad that she included this experiment, because this allows me to see firsthand what my energy is doing. So yeah, I mean, it's a really cool book. I highly, highly recommend it if you haven't. It's, honestly, I would say it's probably the best book I've ever read. It's so informative. It's really entertaining to read too. And it's really cool to try to test this concept out in your daily life. I have seen this work. I have seen the law of attraction at work. It's a little frustrating at first. When you read it, you have to have an open mind. You have to. I can't put it any other way. But yeah, it's really cool, and I'm really glad that this experiment was included, because when I read through the book, I was always practicing, or trying to practice, what I was being told in it, but this woo-woo one allowed me to physically see it, physically touch it, look at it, and see what my energy is doing, and everyone's energy is doing. So yeah, if you haven't, I highly recommend you, even if you don't read the book, I highly recommend you create these, because they're actually a lot of fun to play around with and to see how your shift in energy can drastically change it. I know that personally for me, it's a little harder for me to think of happy things to get it to open up to a wide degree. But I know for me personally, if I think of something that upsets me, I can get these to shut pretty quick. So, but yeah, I highly recommend that you try this out. It's really, it's cool.